Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Reasonably Effective Podcast. I'm 10 Types, as always, joined by Uncommon Fossil.
Glad to be here, and hopefully third time's the charm. We had trouble just getting this podcast started today.
Yeah,
Hopefully
we
this
both
is smooth sailing.
we misclicked, which is unfortunate. But anyways, we are here today, and very excited to be taking a look at the a bunch of new card reveals from the new, I guess, two Japanese expansions, Mega Brave and Mega Symphonia, which are going to be part of the Mega Evolution set in the beginning of the Mega Evolutions, I guess, block coming here with the next set, because we just had Black Bolt White Flare released pretty recently. And so that's like the end of the Scarlet and Violet era. And so the Mega era, if you're not familiar with what it is, it's, I think, mostly similar to the Scarlet and Violet era in terms of we have EXs, I'm pretty sure. We haven't seen any regular EXs though, I don't think, but we have seen Mega EXs, which are 3-prize EXs, which are functionally the same outside of that. They're obviously going to be stronger here. And we've seen some, we talked about them when they were I guess first revealed at the World Championships, which was a while ago, and then also we talked about them with the first batch of reveals where we talked about Venusaur and Latias, Mega Venusaur EX, Mega Latias EX.
Yeah.
And so we'll come in and take a look at a lot more cards here today, though. And also I do want to mention a card, Uncommon Fossil. This is more for you, so you don't forget, because we want to talk. We might want to mention this card, which is the item Mega Signal, which was revealed with the original set of reveals. Which lets you search for Mega EX and reveal put into your hand, because you thought that card was very good, right?
Yes. Yeah. You discard a card, because I'm looking at Pokemon Proxies. I don't see it here.
Oh, so. Mega Signal. There are two sets, but it's in the second set.
I see it there.
Two Japanese sets, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So it's you don't discard. You just search for any Mega, put it into your hand. So that's pretty good.
Yeah, it gets one, so that's a good card. Just the dates, the Japanese sets, Mega Brave, Mega Symphonia, coming out August 1st, so really soon, which is why we got a lot of cards revealed. And then the Mega Evolution's coming September 26th, I believe, internationally.
Yep. And let's just hop right in, though. Not all the cards are Megas. I mean, they are all from this Mega set, but they're not. Most of them aren't Mega Pokemon, though we do have a few, so I want to mention that card. But we're going to start off with Kyogre here. This is a 150 HP basic here, and it has 2 attacks. The second one's just 130 for 3, then you discard 2 attached to it. Nothing super spectacular there. But the first attack here is a bit more interesting. For 1 water, Riptide, it does 20 damage for each water energy in your discard, then shuffle those cards back into your deck. So I didn't remember if this was water or any type. It is just water.
Right.
And we've seen cards like this, like Hisuian Basculegion, which was definitely decent, but that was also any type and was free, so it was more techable. What are your thoughts on this card?
Yeah, I mean, we had the fire one, right? That was similar, that had an attacker it was paired with not that long ago.
The Volcarona V, which was played in, it was played in Expanded some, but in Standard, I don't remember. I think it was supposed to be paired with Rayquaza VMAX, but that wasn't that good. It just it didn't work so well. And then I don't know. I don't know what it was. I feel like it was played with something, but not something super good.
No, it wasn't great, but it was kind of. So the question, look, it's 150 HP on a basic single price, so that's a solid number. So the recruit cost is 3, so that's not good. We have Air Balloon, so now 3 is the bad number, right? Before that, 2 was the bad number. Now 3 means you have to have a switch, so that if you play it, you're also going to get gusted and stuck there, because if you don't have a lot of energies, you're not doing much damage, plus in the discard pile, and then even if you use it, however much damage you do, the following turn, you're not doing any damage, right? Unless you can get more energies in the discard pile. So, and the second attack's not good. I think the first attack's really interesting. Riptide, 20 damage per water. People have mentioned Goldengo. I don't think that's good, just because you don't want to play a lot of water energies in Goldengo, I don't think. We have the ace spec, so you want a spread of energies, and right now you have the stadium, that starts with an L, that gets you back lightning energies. Yeah, so you want a couple extra lightnings. I don't think you want to start adding extra waters as well. It'll make the deck clunky. I don't think you want to drop those other cards for this, so I don't think it's going to go on Goldengo. So I don't have a good use for it. Maybe an Expanded, there's probably something, you need an attacker that pairs with, that wants the energies in the deck, is what I'd say, right? So, I guess Goldengo, is that going to rotate this next year? Like if let me say this, if Goldengo was in format and we lose Superior Energy Retrieval, which I don't think is going to happen, that timing of those things, then maybe you go to a water-based deck for Goldengo.
Yeah, but Goldingo was, I'm pretty sure, released at the last set of the year. Yeah, the G block, and these are I. Oh, I will also mention here. You said that it having through retreat is bad, which it is, but also, and we're going to talk about this actually a little later, is Latias DX, which is like played a lot. So I don't think it's a huge issue. I guess it is, especially in something like Goldango. It's a bit of an issue where you are playing air balloons and not playing Latias, but I think, I mean, you're also not like playing it
Yeah.
earlier. I mean, you could start it, but that's not that likely. So ultimately, it's like I think it's okay. I don't know its place right now. Water's it's not that good, right? Unless I'm forgetting some deck. Like there's Chimpao as well, which this would actually be like, I mean, it
Right.
wouldn't even be that good in. I don't know. I just don't think it quite has a place. It's a decent card though. It definitely has pretty solid damage for one energy here. But also it's not a deck build around, and um, yeah, it doesn't have like again, it doesn't have like insane damage here.
Right. I mean, with water, you have Excalibur, but you want the energies in hand for that, not into your deck. If there was a card in format like Welder or Gardenia's Vigor for water that accelerates waters, say from the deck and from your hand, maybe it could have some value then. But there's not a card like that I don't think is going to come around. So I suspect it's not going to have a strong use case. But maybe it will. I think cards like this are fun. I do think they're fun. The question is there something that can make it good? Maybe not.
Yeah. But I don't think there's too much to say with that. Let's hop into the first megas here, though. We have
Yep.
two. This is mistranslated here on Pokebeats for some reason. I guess they copied and didn't change it. But yeah, Mega Camerupt DX here, which is a 340 HP Stage 1 Mega. Again, a 3 prizer. Um, this Pokemon has two attacks. The second one, Volcano Meteor, which is again the worst attack. That's why I'm starting with it. It's for 3 colors and a fire, 280. Discard 2 from it. You can pair it with like triple or no with Ignition Energy, and you could actually Crispin or like Miller or something and pay it in one turn. But also it's like not. I don't know. I feel like that's not good, right?
No, it's not right. Four energies, and you have to discard two as well. So that it's not a
Yeah,
good
with
second
Igni-
attack is not
sorry,
with ignition is
yeah.
that's okay, but you also have to assuming you don't already have an energy on it, like you said, you may have to Crispin, but then you can't use a supporter to get the special energy. So hopefully you have the right pieces at the time, which I don't think is gonna be great. But the first attack's the interesting one. I would say roasting heat does 80, and if your opponent's active Pokemon is burnt, does 160 more. So that is what 220 plus,
No,
or
two
no, it's
two
more than that, right?
forty. Well, yeah,
240,
you're not
and
including the burn, right?
right 240 damage, and they're burned, which would do at least 40 more.
20
I
more.
mean 20 more. So it gets them to 260. The problem is that's not going to one shot the things you want to one shot, though, right?
Yeah, but it's also only one energy on a stage one. Like that's pretty
Yeah.
cheap. So it does have 4 retreat, which is like kind of high. Yeah, so that's not
Yes.
amazing. Um, I think getting your opponent's active burn, there's really two ways. I heard someone mention Magcargo. There's like a Magcargo that does that, but I think that's kind of bad. But there is the tool to the Volcarona and the Volcanion, or EX. Volcanion EX, if it's in the active, makes your opponent's active burned, and Volcarona here, Volcanion EX I will say is 3 retreat, but is a basic, and then Volcarona here, stage 1, with this ability you can discard a fire from your hand, and then you can make your opponent's active burned. Volcarona might actually be better here because getting like switching Camerupt and Volcanion every turn is like really hard, specifically Camerupt because it does have 4 retreat on a stage 1 here. But yeah, I think you could use Volcarona and it could be, pretty good here. And 260 for one and then like discarding another one is pretty cheap. You need, a couple stage ones in play, but it's not a big commitment. Um, and also you can then pair this with wait, isn't there? I think there's another trainer that goes with it, or that could. Oh yeah, Wally's Compassion, which says heal all damage from one of your Mega Evolution EX if you do put all
Okay.
energy attached to it back into your hand, which is actually really nice synergy because then the energy's back in your
Yeah.
hand. You could discard it with Volcarona if you wanted, or reattach it. Um, and it's just one energy, so that's a really good combo here. There was obviously like Turos as well and stuff.
Right. Yeah. Because I was thinking with expanded. you have Cheryl, which does the same thing. It discards the energy. It heals it fully because you're 340 HP, so you're hopefully not getting one shot. Because with these three prizers and a stage 1/3 prizer, if it's getting one shot, I think you're just going to lose probably. So if you can do the damage, especially if you're doing 260, 80 per turn is not going to work well for long. But 260 per turn, and you're healing yourself up because it's a single entry attachment. It's got potential, I think. Obviously, you can't use Latias because it's the retreat cost, so that's going to be an issue. And you do have to get them burned continually. So can you pull that off? Maybe. I'm a little concerned with the burned aspect just because you
Which
have to
one do
do
you
it every
think's
turn.
better?
Which attack?
Which
On it?
burn option?
Because the one you have to switch right into the active.
Yeah.
And what's the other one again?
Discard a fire.
Probably discarding the fire is going to be more
Oh, on a stage one,
doable.
but yeah.
But I think that's more doable especially because the retreat, you have to have a switch. So you have to have a switch card, and is the other one a basic, by the way, that's in the active,
Yeah.
or
Uh-huh.
so you can have Latias and the other basic, but you have to get a switching card every turn, which isn't great. Yes, there's Professor Turos, but it's an evolution for this, so you have to have another at least basic on the bench. So um, yeah, I think discarding the energy is probably going to be the way to go. Obviously, you wish you had the stadium, which I'm blanking on right now, that accelerates the fire energy from the discard pile.
Oh, Magma
You know what?
Basin. Oh,
Yeah, magma
to
basin,
like
because that
keep.
would be
I don't know. I feel like it's not that big of an issue though. It's not that much energy.
no. But then you could power up the second attack on occasion, right? Over the course of a game, you could
Yeah, I
use the
get, but
second
it's not that
attack
much
once, which is
stronger. It's only 40 more damage for 3 more
no,
energy.
no. But the advantage would be you don't have to worry about the burn, right? Because the problem is going to be if you miss how many times can you miss getting the opponent's Pokemon burned and still win the game, right? Because you're going to miss sometimes with the
I
burn, I
don't know. I
think,
feel like
right?
it's not that hard to do. I will also mention Magmortar. You can use because you're saying 260 isn't quite enough. You're looking for what, like 320 is a pretty solid number. Or wait,
Yeah,
no, I'll say 340 is a good number. Because if you hit 80 and then you hit 260, then that's two shotting. So of course they could like heal, they can Monkey Dory or whatever. But then also you can use Magmortar to do extra burn damage,
right.
but that's another stage one you're putting on your bench and it can get stuck. It's certainly easier than Volcarona. I'm pretty sure is it Sword Cost 3 or 2 actually? I
It's
don't.
two.
Oh, Magmortar. Oh, okay, so yeah, that's
Magmortar
like
is.
not that's fine, I guess. But yeah. So I
Y-
think there's like some stuff here. I think it's decent. Not insane, but I mean it's quite strong for one energy, and the setup's not like
Yeah.
super difficult. It's yeah, I think it's pretty doable and it has high HP. If you're getting one shot, as you said, like it's super bad, and there's stuff like Raging Ball and Goldengo which can one shot you relatively easily. But also,
Well,
if you're not against those, then you should be good. I think.
yeah, actually, I'm going to go back to Goldango in a second because that's an interesting thought there.
Yeah.
Where it's vulnerable, assuming you're using the evolution with the discarding the energy, is if your opponent maybe is going to bosses up that Pokemon, and then you can't get them burned, and then you're going to struggle
Yeah, I
to
think you might
reset up.
need two. You could also play a Volcanion EX just in case. Um, I think there's different options that are okay. Again, not like it's
Right.
not perfect, but it's pretty solid. And again, it's like
Y-
it's like in a pretty absurd stat line. If you ignore the fact that you need to get it burned,
Right.
doing 240 for one is like super crazy. It is a three prizer, but again, it's good. I think.
Yeah. Y- no, I like it. If you're playing against it, if you take out the burn option, that's going to be another way to beat the deck, though. So that's why I think that's something important to keep on when you play against because it'll see play. I definitely want to play it. I like it. Um, the thing, I guess, Goldango make it better in this new with the Mega EXs because like I've been playing Goldango, I like it. And when you go up against like Dragapult, you're basically the same. You need the same number of energies as like Mega Camerupt. The problem is the with Dragapult, you have to do it 3 times with a lot of energies, and that's tough. Only have to do it twice makes it a lot better. So probably because like knocking out 3 Dragapults with Goldengo, you don't play Goldengo a lot, I don't think, but it's a big ask. Getting that third time, you really struggle to get the 7 energies in hand 3 times.
Yeah, and I'm a big fan of Cynthia's where I like it because even though it like you're kind of reliant on tanking hits. You can legitimately tank hits against really strong decks with the extra
Yeah.
HP from the tool, which
Hmm.
requiring even an extra energy. Um, yeah, for both Raging Ball and Goldango. So that's pretty cool.
Right.
But
I,
anyways,
I
yeah.
think that I do think this is one of the more interesting, strong Pokemon that we're talking about today, especially for the EXs. So,
Yeah, I think
like,
it might be better than all the megas we've seen before. They were oh no, well of the first four at least.
yeah,
Yeah, I think it's pretty solid. But then I think we'd move on to the next one, which I think
yep.
I'm just well, okay, I'll just say what it does. First of all, it has an attack for 3 colors, 200, and then you flip a coin until you get tails. It does 50 for each heads. It also has 3 retreat, which is very meaningful here, and then the ability run errand. Um, and it says once during your turn, if this Pokemon is in your active, you can use its ability, draw two, and you can't use more than one of this ability each turn. Um, and obviously you want this in the active, and it's a basic, and you want it to pivot out. Also, it's 300 HP, which is I mean it's quite high, right? It's not like
Yeah.
I don't know. It could be attacker here. I'm not, a huge fan of going to live attacks, but I think it's a solid attack here, a pretty decent one. Um, but then the ability, you can get it in and out with Latias EX, and I think it's pretty good there. And I will say, so I'm gonna because I think this card's really good. I was. Do you think it's good?
Well, I mean, just talk on the attack a second, right? Because I think the good thing with the attack is the base number's good, high at 200,
Yeah.
right? So you're going to average like 230 probably, right? I
I think it's
somewhere around
I think
there.
it's 250, unless I'm doing.
Is it?
I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's
Uh,
250, but I could
okay.
be wrong.
Because the idea is you get those random times, which are almost never when you hit a whole lot of heads and it starts to get big, right? But a big number, but it happens less often. But 3 energies, I don't love it. Maybe you could do some Blissey deck or something, but I'm guessing not. But the ability drawing two is
Well,
good.
three's
It
not
drawing
that
two on
bad.
the
I mean, there are like lots of Pokemon. It's doable. Wait, is it?
yeah.
I think it must be. I don't know. You could do
Well,
like Ogre. I was like saying that, and it's like, wait, how do you pound it? You could use like Ogre Punch and Energy Switch, but that's like not amazing. But
yeah.
um,
So it's easy. All you need is an Ogerpon, and you need a Blissey EX, and you Crispin, and you can attack and return. And
exactly.
that's obviously
You could
not.
you could do
The,
you could do like Joltik or something. I mean, there's like I was
yeah,
like Joltik box. Your Pokemon are 300. Well, no, they're really more than that. They're more expensive than this. Um,
but
and other stuff. I don't know.
yeah.
I'm sure there's something else that I just can't think of.
Okay. I mean, but the attack is. I think it's there for the ability if you're going to play it most of the time, and the attack's for colorless energy, so you can use it. Pheasantipity can attack. It rarely gets used. This will probably get used a little more than Pheasantipity because the number's higher. I'm guessing if it's in the
And
deck.
it's tankier as
Um,
well. Like by I mean, it's tankier.
it-
It does
it-
give him an extra prize, but I don't think it's going to
right,
be some big liability in the active. But it could be. Like you don't really want to be taking a hit,
right.
but I'm not sure how bad it
Well,
is or good.
right because of the 300 HP with if you have an extra energy attachment, which you have turns like that occasionally, right? You can attach an energy to a Pokemon because your attacker's powered up already. You don't usually attach to Pheasantipity because it's going to get one shot before you can take advantage. But here, you're more likely to take advantage of it. So I think you'll get some energies on it more. But the question is the ability. So let me just say this: I think drawing two cards is really good as an ability once per turn. You need Latias on the bench, so then that's two cards in the deck and two bench slots you got to take up. So I get nervous about that. Drawing through in Pheasantipity is really good, so you probably would want Pheasantipity first, and this would become like the second draw option. It's nice because you don't have to be knocked out, so sometimes that's a problem with Pheasantipity. But the fact you need this in play and you need Latias in play, I'm concerned about it. That's my big. It's drawing two is good, but I don't know that it's worth the risk and the awkwardness. That's my
Yeah.
that's my thought right now.
So I think it's quite good. I think it does depend a little bit actually how good megas are, but this is I believe the only mega we've seen with like a substantially good ability, like specifically a draw ability.
Yeah,
Which we didn't see with the other three prizes really. I mean, we kind of saw with VMAXs, but not really. And then we didn't see with tag teams at all, so or V unions either. But I actually don't remember all the abilities on V unions. But
well,
anyway, so this brings me back to the item Mega Signal, which again searches for any Mega and puts it into your hand. Which
right.
there are different items like these. You have like Terra Orb, as I was thinking about this the other day, and then Featherball pre-rotation, and different things like that, right? And they're like not super good. I think Mega Signal's in a similar like, vein, like where it's like good in some decks, but it's obviously not searching everything that you need, even in the decks that's good in. So, but it is much better if you do have a Pokemon you can search out that's going to get you out of a bad hand or like draw you cards. In Standard right now, there aren't cards that are just like these huge draw cards, but there are some that are like pretty solid, like Pheasantipity or Squawkabilly. I think Squawkabilly is a huge draw for one turn. Pheasantipity is like solid draw. Kangaskhan's like a little weaker, as you said, but it's pretty solid, right? It's pretty solid for draw. It's searchable off this item, so I think it gives a lot more value to Mega, whatever it was called, Mega Signal. Or
Yeah.
on the other side, Mega Signal helps this a lot if you're playing a Mega deck. So if you're playing like Camerupt, I'd definitely put in Mega Kangaskhan EX. And also it's less reliability there because it's not like it's giving you extra prizes compared to your other Pokemon really. And it's like it's still obviously quite tanky. So it's a Pokemon that you can search out and get value off of its ability for that reason. So I think it's quite good. I don't think it's insane as a draw Pokemon. I mean, it's not drawing so many cards, but I think it's pretty decent. You obviously need to get it switched around and stuff, but I'd say it's more of like a help you in bad situations as opposed to help you draw even more cards for like a whole engine. You kind of like Pheasantipity can be often.
Yeah, I'll say though, I think you have to have, with biggest Kangaskhan EX, you got to have it in play before your turn starts. I would say because your active gets knocked out, you promoted to the active. I don't want to have to play Nest Ball. Also, Nest Ball works just fine for this, so Mega Signal's a little less important for it for the Mega Kangaskhan versus say a stage one or stage
Yeah, but
two.
also like having a like Ultra Ball's better because you can get something like Squawkabilly or Pheasantipity as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So the thing here is though, like I said, I think you have to have it in play before your turn starts because I can't play my item to get this in play and then switch it in the active and then I draw two cards and now I have to like because now I have to switch back to the bench and get my energies set up. So I probably need more than two extra cards at that point to make it happen. So with Pheasantipity, part of why it gets you three cards instead of two, which is a big deal. But also that you don't have to have in play when your turn starts. Like if your opponent knocks out your Pheasantipity, as long as you have Night Stretch, you're happy just putting on the bench because boom, it draws the cards from the bench. So the fact it's from the active means it already has to be in play, I think, to get to be usable most of the time.
Yeah, it's a lot better if it's in play. It's like kind of bad if it's not already, but also if you're in like a really bad situation, it can get you out of that. It
Yeah.
can get you back into the game. I feel like, um, I don't know. I don't think it's insane, but I think it's pretty decent. It's
Yeah,
definitely a card I like.
it'll be interesting to see how much it gets played. Is it going to be like it's not fair comparison, but you remember Dedenne GX, which is in a lot of decks. Crobat V was kind of the in some decks, but not as good. But good is this Mega Kangaskhan going to be the Crobat V compared to Pheasantipity EX's um, Dedenne GX, just in terms of play and amount, number of copies
Yeah,
and
I mean,
decks and
Crowbar B
stuff.
was very good.
It, yeah, probably better than this probably, but it it'll be interesting to see does this become a common card in a lot of decks? Does this kind of become a staple? I think at most it'll be a fringe staple, but will it get there or not? I'm curious to see about that.
Yeah, I think it will be very good in Mega. We'll see though. But definitely some interesting cards here. But we have some other cool ones as well.
Yep.
Those the next ones aren't necessarily super exciting, but we have a Celebi here, which does 30 for one, or also has ADHP, which is like bad. And for one grass, you can search your deck for up to 3 combination of grass Pokemon and stadium cards you'll put into your hand and shuffle your deck. I don't think you have anything really much to say about that. It's like super random. Like, why is it searching stadiums and grass Pokemon?
No, it's well. First, the summary is it's bad. This card, and even we've talked about in the past. There's not many ways to search out stadiums. So this is a card that searches out stadiums and it's still bad because I can't. I just I don't see a use case for this Pokemon.
Yeah, I'm trying to think like in like a GLC or some alternate format. I mean, it's like there are worse cards that exist. Certainly, it's not like the worst card ever, but it's not like a card that's like viable with serious play really at all. Unless for
Right.
some reason you'd like want a bunch of stadiums, but I like cast form, but you don't play energy, and like also like this isn't what you want in cast form. But like for some reason, if you want a lot of
Right.
stadiums, yeah, like if there's some
Yeah,
like
but
Goldengo Stadium deck, like instead of energies, it was like stadiums, then this could be like all right, I guess.
yeah, except it's going to get knocked out. So you're giving up a free prize. which I don't like. And then of course it's your attack, so your opponent may Iono you or something, and then you say goodbye to those stadiums, right? So I,
Yeah.
you know,
It's not like good
it's
even in that theoretical situation
no.
that doesn't exist, but it's like okay there, maybe. Yeah, anyways, so then we have this next card here though, which is Marshadow. This one's a bit more interesting. For two
Yeah.
fighting, Shadow Kick here does 60, and if your opponent's Pokemon is knocked out by damage from this attack, prevent all damage from and effects of attacks done to this Pokemon during your opponent's next turn.
This one's interesting. This one's like, way better than Celebi. And if the attack was one energy, I think it would see some play. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
The fact that it takes two energies makes it very tough, right? Because if you can't power it up, you want to be able to power it up in one turn. Because I don't think I want to be like getting energies on other to prepare in advance, right? So you've got to have Crispin with other energy types in your deck, I guess, or something.
Yeah, I'm not
So,
sure
but
how to
it's
power this up.
yeah. I mean, honestly, in expanded, if you're playing expanded and with Raihan with fighting energy, I think you think about it. Because it's 90 HP. That's not terrible. It's not good either. But oh wait, level ball gets 90, right? For expanded.
But with expanded, I feel like decks have certainly full expanded with versus Eco
Well,
decks have more access to like gusting. So
yeah.
um yeah.
But here's what it does. It does 60, and so you could, if you had a copy in the deck, and let's say it was one energy, which is not, and I think that ruins it. I could see a fighting deck. You'd play one copy because you use it once at the appropriate time with a Pokemon that you've hit into, particularly like a multi-prize you've hit into, didn't knock it out. But you finish it off with a single prizer. Ideally, they can't take any prizes, can't do any damage. Worst case is they take one prize. Worst case is they gust up your Mega Pokemon for three prizes in game. But I think if it was one energy, it could maybe have value. I think at two, it's just not good enough.
Yeah, I think I when I see this card, I was thinking like I feel like you want to use this like every turn. Ideally, that'd be like super good.
Well,
Kind of hard to do, but that like if you are invincible every turn, that's really good, right?
yeah. Okay. What else could I do? So no, I agree, and I'm down trying to think like my Ditto box, right? Which that's rotated too. See, my Claydol Ditto box and
Yeah, with
expanded, I could do
Terrakion.
that. Yeah, but that this might be just the worst one because
Yeah, yeah, but
you know,
that's fine. This is like interesting because I mean, can be streamed, right? Tracheon is a Pokemon that attacked and was invincible but
yeah,
couldn't be streamed. And this one is able to it can just like theoretically like 60 isn't really that like it's not quite enough. You'd rather be doing 70 obviously
no,
to one shot like Dreepies and stuff, but like you can get
right,
some like 10 extra on presumably like I mean you could like Vitality Band or something. So like you can do 70. I don't think you'll be able to stream it like every turn, but I think you can do it probably like 3 turns in a row. Obviously, assume your opponent. I mean, they're not going to knock this out. Presumably, like they need to double gust it, which like presumably isn't happening. That's pretty hard to do. Um,
right.
and usually just isn't a good commitment of resources. So it's like pretty safe. And it's not like that hard to
Well,
set up. Um,
yeah. Look, I get the idea of trying to stream it. Now, obviously, as long as you have something else on the bench, which I think you're going to do, I don't think you're just going to play a Marshadow and think you're going to be invincible the rest of the game. So you have to have something on the bench. So do you go with things that are low HP, single prizes that are going to get one shot instead of this, or do you go with a multi-prizer that you hope they can't, a big basic mega that they hope they can't knock out, which you could do. That's interesting. I guess what I'm thinking is if you could stream it some, and then you could have a control focus deck with it, where you're through your trainers, which I don't know that they're really that strong in format now. You're just kind of chipping away at their deck in their hand. Maybe that type of approach.
um, maybe, yeah. Anyways, this card we probably talked about more than it deserves. No, we definitely
Yeah.
have, but it's like kind of interesting here still, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But then we have another card. This one is a little different because it's like revealed from some like pre-release thing. And so we're gonna talk about one of them. We'll talk about both of them, but we're just talking about one first here, which is Lunatone. There's an Alakazam, but we'll talk about that with the rest of its evolution line.
Yeah.
But Lunatone here, which works, huh?
No, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Lunatone does work with a Soul Rock, which we don't know the Soul Rock, so that could matter a lot. I'm just gonna kind of assume the Soul Rock's kind of bad. But anyways, your ability here, Lunar Cycle, says once during your turn, if you have Soul Rock in play, there's like a decent Soul Rock in Standard, I think, which you could pair with this, but you may discard a basic Fighting from your hand, and then you draw 3 cards. You cannot use more than one Lunar Cycle ability each turn, though. And it's 110 HP, 1 retreat here, and it can also do a 50 for 2 Fighting, which is kind of bad, but whatever.
Well, look, I mean, we had the Mega, right? The Mega Kangaskhan that draws 2 that has been active, and we needed the Latias EX to get it to the bench. So having this Lunatone and a Soul Rock, and they can work on the bench, and it gets you 3 cards. Now you have to discard a Fighting, but that's not that tough, right? It's not bad, right? And Pheasantipity gets us 3 cards, but of course, early game, if your opponent doesn't knock you out and you're scuffling to set up, your Pheasantipity is not helping you. It's not great. So it's drawing 3 cards is pretty good. Would it be too good if it could stack? Maybe if you could repeat it, maybe. Obviously the attack's not very good on it, so I think it's a card that I think could see some play. That's assuming the Soul Rock's bad. Now, if the Soul Rock's good, then this could be potentially an overpowered deck, like the old Lunatone Soul Rock was when it saw a lot of play. It was over. I don't know if it was overpowered, but it was a fun single prize deck that was solid. I think
Yeah.
at the time.
I also so I said that there's like a good Soul Rock. I was wrong. It was the Lunatone, and that's not Soul Rock. So, anyways,
Okay.
so yeah, I think, and I was originally comparing this in my head to like something like Reverie, which I'm not a big fan of Reverie. I think it's kind of bad because it doesn't come through, like when you need it, when you've been hit by like an Iono or something. But this is, I think it's more similar to Radiant Greninja here, which Radiant Greninja was super good. This is obviously type specific, but. Um,
Yeah.
this is like quite good. I'm not sure what you want to use this in fighting. I think well, there's Cynthia's. I do like Cynthia's, but I don't. Actually, this might be pretty good in Cynthia's. I think fighting is actually going to be like quite good with. I mean, there's the new item which just increases damage by 30. There's Lucario. There was Raging Bolt. Raging Bolt definitely kind of piques my interest with this. Um, not sure if it's like it seems kind of sketchy, but because you like don't have that much fight energy, but you could build it more towards fight
Right.
energy and have like I mean, this can't be your whole draw engine because it only draws 3 every turn, which is like decent, but it's not like quite enough. But
Hmm.
I don't know. I think this card's it's pretty interesting here. It also does take up
Yeah.
2 bench slots. So
Right. That's the thing. Like when you mention the fighting basic, which I just blanked on, what you just said, right?
I said Radiant
Um,
Greninja.
well, no,
That's
I mean, well, there's the Radiant Greninja. This is much worse than that because it's two cards. But the Raging Bolt deck, right? You mentioned like to
oh yeah.
play this with that. You mentioned the problem is I think I'd rather have 2 Teal Mask Ogre Pawns because it's just 2 bench slots, right? And then I'm getting less draw with those, but I still need like the Teal Mask Ogre Pawns. So I don't know if I can give up 2 bench slots for one Lunatone and one Soul Rock in many decks. So
Well, I'm kind of thinking this is replacing more so like the Noctowl in the deck than the Ogre
okay.
Pawns. I don't know. It doesn't like quite work. I mean, it doesn't really
Well,
work at all with the Ogre Pawns, but I'm thinking it more as
hmm,
like a draw engine.
okay,
Kind of like I mean, what Radiant Greninja was like in the deck. It's not Radiant Greninja. It just doesn't work the same in the deck, unfortunately,
right.
or fortunately. But um, it does some things that are similar, obviously.
Okay. I mean, look, I think Radiant Greninja was probably too good because it was like the default Radiant Pokemon, right, for most decks. So I think it was a little too strong. So I think that not being as strong as that's, I think, good for the game. If you compare it, say, to a Noctowl engine, because the single prize draw engines are limited right now. Noctowl's better, but you can only do it once, and then it's done. Whereas this you can do every turn. So compare this to Noctowl. You can kind of start to argue the pluses and minuses depending on the deck, which one will be better. So maybe as a single prize engine, since we're limited now, this will see some play. I like the Dunsparce engine. You don't like, would this be better than a Dunsparce engine? I don't know. Maybe, right? I guess you could debate that.
Yeah, obviously it like depends though. I don't think there's again a standard really deck that it works super well in. Regional uses some fighting, but I mean it's just as much lightning, and then it also uses way more grass. So you need to kind of rework that. But anyway, it's definitely an interesting card there. Honestly, yeah, like these magic cards are pretty solid. But then we have the next. This is another evolution line, or wait, no, this is the first evolution line we're talking about. This is
Yeah.
the Tinkaton line, and the Tinkatuff here has an ability. I'll just read the Tinkatuff and the Tinkaton. The Tinkatuff here does, with its ability on a play as a stage 1 surprise hammer, when you place Pokemon to evolve on your Pokemon during a turn, you may use this ability, and then you flip a coin. If heads, discard an energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon, and then you have Tinkaton here for 1 metal. You do 240, but you do 60 less for each energy attached to your opponent's active here.
Yeah, so it's an interesting one, right? 240 for a single prize Pokemon, even at stage 2 for 1 energy is a nice number, right? And obviously the stage 1's ability pairs with it. Obviously you wish you had a card like Scoop Up Net in format to repeat it sometimes. So if you're playing the Tinkaton, you don't want to really play. This will probably be like a 1 rare candy deck, I guess, because you want to play, or maybe even none, because you really need to play the Tinkatuffs along the way. But you need to save the Tinkatuffs because it's not an every turn ability, it's a non-play ability. So it's interesting. 160 HP is not huge for a stage 2. But I guess you're
It's
gonna get one
solid.
shot
It's pretty decent.
Yeah. So I think it's appealing. It's kind of a fun deck. It's like a meme deck kind of card. I think is gonna struggle in reality to function. That's kind of what I'm thinking.
The Tinkaton.
Yeah, the Tinkaton line. Yeah.
Yeah, so I kind of agree. I agree with what you said, except I think the Tinkatuff itself could be played just by itself. Because Rushing Hammer is pretty decent. It's not as good as Crushing Hammer. But let's say by itself. I meant potentially like by itself, not with this stage 2, but with a different Tinkaton. There was an EX, which is like okay, I guess it's not great. It's the one that does 30 for each card in your hand. But then there's the single prize Tinkaton with the ability Gather Materials that lets you discard 1, draw 3, which is like a really solid ability.
Yeah.
We're just talking about the Lunatone. It's stage 2 here, obviously, which is worse. But it is solid, consistent draw. Good, honestly, quite good draw throughout the course of the game. We're talking about Fezzinifty, that's like super, like honestly, kind of broken. And then you have this good ability, this disruptive ability here. It's kind of weird if you're playing Rare Candy, you're gonna skip the stage 1, which is like okay, but it's kind of weird there. But not every deck's playing Rare Candy, so you could like, kind of play it not using Rare Candy. That kind of makes sense. But then you're not getting your engine to play till at earliest turn 3. Obviously you can't TM Evolution the Tinkatuff because then the ability doesn't work. I mean, you could, but the ability doesn't work. And then you have the Tinkaton, which is, I think, a good draw engine, but it's not like insane. I mean, I haven't really seen it played in anything outside of the Tinkaton EX decks. And just adding to, like, it is a nice addition to Tinkaton EX as well. And it's like, it's, solid. I think Crushing Hammer is actually, like, pretty good in Standard right now. I'm not playing it too much, but I'm playing it a little bit. And Crushing Hammer is like good against specifically something like Dragapult without Charizard, like Dragapult with Luminous Energies, with Monkey Dories and stuff. They'll really struggle to use those if they're being hit with Crushing Hammers and Enhanced Hammers as well. And then something like I don't know, the Monkey Dory decks, right? You got a bunch of those. The hammers are good.
Yeah, a couple additional thoughts. One, if they decide to reprint Scoop Up Net with the errata-ing it would be a different card. It won't be a errata. It'll be a different name. But it doesn't work on a rule box Pokemon. Then of course this gets a lot better. For sure. The idea of it with the older single prize Tinkaton, I like that for the engine. In the attack actually is what 90 for 2 energies. 90 more if it's got a special energy. We have the new special energy, right? That covers.
No, you just reversal.
Or is that just colorless?
Yeah, just colorless.
Just reversal.
There are ways. Yeah, you use reversal. It's all right.
And it's a psychic and a colorless, so you can use Crispin as well. So when you get this disruption and the damage, maybe this starts to make or just the engine of the card, right? Maybe that starts to see play. And the other thing is disruption's always good. It's not good when you're on the other side. Control's not great now. Could this start to, this is another tool for control decks too, right? Getting rid of energies. If you can play 4 hammers and 4 Tinkatuffs, that might be enough disruption to win games too with a control. Way to go.
Yeah, it's definitely a cool card here. Obviously, it's coin flip dependent. So it's not very reliable. But but again, I do think the game's in a position where getting like just removing an energy at various points throughout the course of the game, not necessarily specific turns, but general turns, um, is solid. It's not insane, but it's pretty decent. It could definitely set your opponent back. I guess with control, you're relying more heavily on this type of disruption, because otherwise you're not stopping him from attacking by knocking him out of her. So presumably you could, but like not really. So then you're more reliant on the ability to do the heavy lifting, which it's not, reliable to do that, but still definitely, I think it's a card that is cool, or I don't know if it's cool. It's a card that's like theoretically like good, kind of annoying, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully it's not. I hopefully don't. I don't want to see a lot of Tinkatuffs with essentially like seeing 8 crushing hammers per game, right? That's nothing. I don't think any of us want to see. But I think your point that the stage one may be better than the Tinkaton in general. So and has more use cases. So I
Yeah.
like that
Oh
thought.
yeah, I didn't talk about the Tinkaton. It does you talked about some. I mean, like you were saying, oh, you get the energy off. You're not gonna be able to get the energy off all the time though. And if you're not
No,
getting the energy off, it's like really bad. Losing 60 for each energy. I mean, you're hitting like 180 is like okay, I guess. It's not bad. Not amazing. It could be good, but
right.
um and then like 120 was just quite bad. So theoretically, you could be like sniping Pokemon like Pheasantipity or something on the bench, which don't have energy. But overall, I think Tinkaton's like it has like some really good, like it's really good against like Raging Bolt or something. But there was a bunch of times when it's really bad as well.
Well, if you think you want the Tinkaton, the current one for the engine, and then you want the energy disruption, you probably would put a copy of this attacker in for weakness. I'm guessing.
Uh,
Um, maybe.
what's it for weakness?
I don't know. Poke
Okay,
some
Okay. Anyways,
something, right?
yeah. Okay. I think we can move on to the next set of cards here.
Okay.
So we have 3 more cards here. 2 megas. Well, we have a bunch of more cards, but 3 on this next page.
Yeah.
We got Mega Absol EX here with 2 attacks. Doom Period for Darkness Colorless. You knock out your opponent's active if they have exactly 6 damage counters on it. And then for 3, you can do which are Darkness. You do 200, and then your opponent reveals their hand. You discard a card you find there. Also has 2 retreat and has 2 ADHP. Again on a basic 3 prizer.
Yeah, this one's interesting. Obviously 200. Well, they're both interesting attacks. So 200, and you get to get rid of a card. That's good, right? I mean, just a control deck wouldn't mind something like that on the right thing anyway. Now you're doing 200 and doing that. Is that combo going to be viable? Maybe not, but I think it's interesting. And then the other one for Darkness Colorless, uh, knock out a Pokemon with 6 damage counters on it. The question is obviously how you can get 6 damage counters exactly on it. That's the concern, but it's pretty good. It does it to the active. So how are you gonna do that? Like, because if you have the Dust Skull, right? That does 5 damage counters. Is that
The
correct?
stage one, Dusclops.
Dusclops. Sorry, I got the wrong. It does 5, and but then you need like a Halucha to do another 10, unless you have like Monkey Dory, it can move stuff. But Halucha only hits the bench, so then you also have to gust them up as well. So it gets really awkward. So I'm concerned about the damage counters. But if you can do that, it's pretty fun, right? Just knocking things out like that.
Yeah, Monkey Dory like kind of seems like it is the video. It's the right energy. It's like the right damage kind of. But then
Yeah,
you need 4 energies. You could pair it with Blissey, but how are you getting damage on your own board? You can also pair it with like
yeah,
Frostlass, but then it's like super sketchy because um if you go over by like 10, then all of a sudden their Pokemon is just never getting knocked out. So that's really bad.
yeah,
I think both attacks are pretty good. They don't have very good synergy. I mean, they're like okay attacks. Like Cruel Claw, discarding a random or a card of your choice from your opponent's hand is quite good, and the damage again is like pretty solid. So I think this attack, like at first I thought Cruel Claw was like bad, but then I thought about it. I guess it was pretty good. We see like Luxray EX, which isn't like that good, but was played some as like a substantially like solid
yeah,
control card. This is like similar, so it's decent. I don't know. There's just a lot of stuff to. I'm not sure. There's a lot of stuff to figure out with it, and I don't know quite how to use it. Um,
yeah,
I saw someone mention like with the Frostlass thing and the Monkey Dory thing, you could put it in like Marnie's. It's like this is okay. I mean, Marnie's is good, but it doesn't fit perfectly into it. But at least as a one attack, it's interesting. But Yeah, I think it's kind of a cool card. You can power it up using Janines, but that's not like amazing. I guess that's pretty good with the Monkey Dory thing. Because it gets two energy on, so you can get one on your Monkey Dory. I'm pretty. Wait, what's Janine's do? Janine's is it's to any type, right? I think. No, it's not. Never mind. It's to two of your Darkness Pokemon. So forget that. I wasn't sure. So you need to like energy switch there then, which is like pretty awkward or something like that. I think pairing it with Bliss EX is interesting. Um, but again, it's like kind of clunky. It's actually quite clunky.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, powering up's tricky. You kind of wish you had. Well, you certainly wish you had Dark Patch in
Yeah.
format to do it. Not there's no kind of about that. You just the card wants that. You could maybe you do Monkey Dory with Frostlass, right? That way you're getting damage. You can kind of move it and get the numbers you need, but you still have to get the energy on the Mega Absol, and you need to get the energy on the Monkey Dory. So I don't know. Although we have the supporter, right, that moves an energy from the bench to the active. Is that right?
I believe it's actually two. Yeah.
So
Could be
now
two
you have
different Pokemon. Yeah.
okay, you were mocking that. So now we have maybe a use case for that. You can use your Monkey Dories and then move the energies onto your active. Maybe this is the big use case for it.
How do you get the two inches on the Monkey Dories without your supporter?
Like Crispin the turn before, and they don't knock them out.
Yeah.
I don't. No, yeah,
You could
I
Jadines the
don't
turn
know.
before, and then you should be fine. I mean, you could. Oh wait, no, never mind. You can Crispin because you can't Jadines. So yeah. Anyways, this is interesting. I think again, a lot of these cards are pretty cool. Not like
Yeah,
insane, but pretty cool. Then you have Mega Mawile EX, the other Mega here, the last one we're talking about, I believe, and it's a basic here again. 270 HP Metal Pokemon and two attacks again for essentially similar costs. Metal, Greedily Devour. It does 80 for each prize you've taken. And then Big Bite for Metal Colorless, 260. But if your opponent's active has damage on it already, it does 30 instead. I feel like Big Bite is like not super good. Um, like it's like decent sometimes. Like it's really good against something like Golden, or it's like good against something like Goldengo. It's not even insane there. It's just pretty good. It's still three energy to one shot them. But then if you're against something like Dragapult, or if you're against Marnies, this is horrendous. Because you're never knocking them out. But because they're just gonna frostlass themselves, and then yeah, it's
yeah,
super sketchy, but and not that good. But Greedly Devour gets like really strong. It 80 times multiplier is very good. Obviously, it's dependent on
yeah.
you already being like kind of doing stuff and kind of up, but it's pretty strong.
I mean, this could be an important attacker. I with the first attack, depending with the HP, because this I think can at one shot because it could one shot any Mega Pokemon. I think right because we're doing 400 damage, right?
Yeah, at that if you're taking five prizes, but yeah,
That's what I mean. Yeah, and I'm always at right. We start the game with having taken 5 prizes, so
exactly.
it's in the bench is set up and all the energies are in play already. But no, I get it. But that we might the more megas are a thing, the more you need some big punch attack. And if you obviously have the right deck that could power it up and make it work, then this becomes a thing. Well, here's what I think would be the second attack though. Obviously, an extra energy and yeah, the fact that if they have damage counters, it only does 30, so it's a huge punish for that, right? Here's what I'd like to see that'd be fun. Try to pair this with the Absol, so your opponent's like dancing around between damage numbers, right? In a certain
Uh-huh.
sense. If they start getting damage on, then you have the ability to push to get the Mega Absol knockout. And you're never going to make it work with powering the stuff up, but I think that would be kind of a fun thing to do. Have
It's
these
like
different
kind of funny. No,
damage numbers
it's
and do
actually
different.
it's pretty funny. I will say it's doesn't sound good, but
Well, you're never gonna. It's just not gonna ever set up, right? Because I need all these energies in play at the right times and stuff. I just don't think I'm gonna power stuff up for one thing. But uh, so maybe the first attack in a deck. It's a basic, so that's the good thing. And so you obviously don't put in to play till late in the deck. And I don't know. I'm trying to think. Is there a way like my Goldango deck I
I
could
don't
put
think I
this
think
in
it's
to do?
in no. I think it's probably an Arcaludon.
I,
I think it's actually quite good in
oh yeah.
Arcaludon. I haven't been playing that
Oh
much
yeah.
Arcaludon recently, but it's pretty solid. I think. This is a nice, like it needs a little boost. I think this is pretty good for it. It struggles. Even the second attack is like decent in that deck because your damage is like a little sketchy. So yeah, I think Mega
Right.
Bottle I like quite a bit here. And then like in any Matang deck, I guess it's good. Matang's like not super good, but Mega
Yeah.
Mawile EX I think fits pretty nicely into those decks.
Yeah, no, I like that. I like that. Archaludon thought with this is a way to go.
Yeah, well,
So
this is like the lowest HP one we see, and like again, they're getting a little squishy. I mean, not squishy. I don't know, but they're
yeah.
like they could get one shotted. Right? That's not. I mean, they're not getting one shot all the time, but if that happens, it's pretty bad. And they're basics, and like yes, you can attack with them like a lot and do different things, but if they get knocked out, it's not great.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a huge difference, I think, in reality between 270 and 280. Either way,
No, there's not.
decks are decks are prepared to decks should be built to hit 280 still, right? At least they
Not.
want a lot of them
I don't know.
can.
So some can, yeah. I get like what?
Well, they had been right now they're not as much. So when the mega comes out, that might if these 280-ish megas are seeing a lot of play, then 280 is going to become a target number again, right?
Yeah,
With deck construction. So time will tell
yeah.
on that. And I guess then we have the supporter here, Acerola's Mischief. You can only use this if your opponent has 2 or fewer prize cards remaining, so that's obviously a big deal there. But then choose one of your Pokemon in play during your opponent's next turn. Prevent all damage from and effects of attacks done to this Pokemon by attacks from your opponent's EX. So that's very good, right? EX is obviously a big deal. The Mega Pokemon are all EXs as well. So I think it's a strong card. I think, is this going to become pretty common in a lot of decks? What do you think?
I don't know. I don't think it's. I mean, you can only use it during certain turns. You need to have it in your hand.
Right,
And then at that point, like it protects one of your Pokemon, but only one of them.
right.
Um, I don't know. I
Now,
think it's okay, but I feel like your opponent's gonna have like Gust around it, or like at that point you just rather have Gust. So I feel like it's a little situational. It can be really good, right? It can like buying you a turn's really good. Um,
yeah.
I don't know. I'm not sure. I think it could be almost a build around card for like a some like unique stall type of deck. But I don't know. I feel like it's just kind of sketchy. Just committing your supporter to something like defensive supporters usually just aren't very good. I feel like. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
This one's a little different than the other ones, but yeah, I agree. Defensive supporters I always find interesting, but they pretty much they pretty consistently disappoint. So that's a really good point there. This one, yes, they can gust around it, but the effect still stays on the Pokemon, right? Which is
yeah,
interesting. They can't like double switch to hit into it. So you have to if you had like especially if they're down to one prize and you had a single prize in the active, you had multi prizers on the bench they couldn't one shot, then you play this Acerola's Mischief on your active, and then they can't win the following turn, right?
yeah,
Unless they can turn off effects, right? Which I don't believe it's not in the game, and I don't expect that to come in the game. So, but how often would that situation come up? Maybe not that often. I guess the other thought is this a potential? It's a potential control card, right? Because
yeah,
control players, if they get behind, it's probably like a one of even a control deck. I'm guessing maybe two. I don't think you're looking to win games for anybody with this card, but it's an interesting card because it's different the way it's worded and the way it works than other cards in the past.
yeah. So I think it does have potential. But yeah, not really sure what you're looking at it. And maybe quad Iron Thorns. Um, yeah, you just play Iron Thorns, and at some point you'll have one Iron Thorns in play. And your after your third Iron Thorns will be the only Iron Thorns in play. Then you just use this every turn, and then you just eventually win or something like that. But
Or like
yeah,
you're playing a Mimikyu deck. You got Mimikyu that's already immune to the EXs, and then you have a Pheasantipity on the bench. You Ace Acerola
yeah,
your Pheasantipity.
yeah.
I
That's
yeah,
very interesting.
you know, maybe I'm not sure you're going to build a deck that have those pieces to get there very often, but maybe.
Yeah, I think it's cool. I think it's just a little clunky here. But
Yeah.
then we have the line that we talked about earlier here, which is the Alakazam line. The Abra is not very interesting. Oh, it just switches to the bench, which is okay, I guess, with
Like
the Alakazam
Mimikyu or
EX.
something
Oh, yeah.
too.
Um, then we have Kadabra though on play from hand. Then you on evolution you draw two, and Alakazam on play you draw three. Then Alakazam's attack here for one psychic, put two damage counters, essentially do 20 on your opponent's active for each card in your hand, which is not that strong. But yeah, you have
What do you mean? I
you
have I have like a 30 card hand.
exactly yeah
Um Yeah, I mean that's the problem because if you have a 10 card hand which you're happy with, you're doing 200 damage. That's not good enough. So you're gonna have to get to like a 15 card hand to be happy, probably somewhere
Yeah,
around
which is
there.
like kind of like almost impossible.
Yeah, I mean now you don't get rid of the cards, right? So that's the nice thing.
Yeah,
Um, and the good things about it, first off, drawing cards is good.
it is.
You could if
But
we had
no,
scuba
drawing
been
cards is good because you can play the cards you draw.
well, that's what I mean. So first off, maybe this just becomes an engine card. Could this be one of the engines in the game? You draw two and then you draw three. That's
I don't
pretty
know.
good,
It's
right?
not that good. It's kind of
Well,
like, I mean, we saw this engine before on like a Crobat line. It was actually played with a similar deck, but the deck was like really bad. It was pretty much like kind of the same as this. Um, I mean, it's
but
just I don't know. Like the damage isn't like horrendous. It's okay.
okay. So all right. So first, two things. Well, first, in terms of just the engine, there aren't very good single prize engines now. We've said that before. So could this have room as a single prize engine? Probably not. But I think when Crowbat was around, there are other better engines, right, in format.
Yeah, I think this
Um,
is like a little worse than I don't like the Dunsparce. It has similarities to the Dunsparce. Because you have
yeah.
to keep like playing it. Except this time it's taking up a bunch of deck slots. So, yeah.
Well, well, into Dunsparce, I know you don't like it. I do. It goes back in your deck, so you can recycle it. This one you can't recycle. So the question
Well, but they're
becomes the
already in
attack.
your deck, so because you're just playing more of them. So functionally, it's
But you
like
can replay it
in the game,
once you
it's
play.
pretty similar, except it takes extra deck slots.
Well, because of stage two, but also unless you're going to use the attack, so that then it may have value. But right, as your games, you draw the cards, and now you can't draw anymore. Now you're just staring at Alakazam the rest of the game, right? That part's I don't like. The question is could the attack be good? And the attack's not terrible. It's not terrible. It's really it's one energy. That's the big thing it's got going for it. So you can use this attack some, for sure. And then it's a psychic energy. So now we can play the Zatu energy. You know what? I don't even have to, and I can have the Alakazam the active because I don't need to accelerate to it. So I need something that just draws me some more cards. And can I get there? It's a fun little thing to give a try with. I don't expect good results, but I think it's a bit of a tease. You can go, you could give it a try. I think at least
Yeah,
I could give it a try.
yeah. No, it's all right. I think I started by saying it's bad. It's not. It's not that bad. It's okay, but it's
Yeah,
not good.
fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah.
Then we have another card that's not good. This Ninkata that's bad. But then we have Ninjask with this ability on play. It's a stage one here. You search your deck for a Shedinja and put it onto your bench. And then you can do 90 for two. I also have and switch to the bench, and you also have for your treat. Um, and then you have the Shedinja, which is a stage one here with this ability Fragile Shell. If it's knocked out by damage from an attack from an opponent's Pokemon EX, your opponent can't take any prizes from it. And it does for one psychic 20 for each damage counter on your opponent's active, and also for your treat. And it functionally, that attack like triples the damage on your opponent's active. I will say the Ninjask I think is kind of terrible. Because we previously had a Ninjask kind of like this. I feel like we have like lots and lots of Ninjasks like this. It's like kind of silly because like why would you like use this? It's just I guess a search for the Shedinja, but you could just like play the Shedinja like right. So it's kind of weird. Like we had one like this with the same ability except the Shedinja you literally couldn't play any other way. So not really sure what's going on with that. But I feel like this ability is like okay, I guess. The attack's all right as well. But it kind of just reminds me of Mimikyu, and there are other cards similar to Mimikyu as well that are stage ones that I think are worse. But some people, I mean, they do more damage, so there's valid reasons to play them. But this, like, the ability is just kind of worse because you're knocked out, right? You don't give up any prizes, which is good, but you are knocked
Right.
out still. Mimikyu just doesn't give up any prizes because it's not knocked out. It doesn't take any damage. But again, your attack is like better, I guess. I mean, you do need to start to get with damage, otherwise you'll never get any damage on the board. Um, but I just don't really see a place for this card, unfortunately. It's like kind of cool, but it's not quite good enough.
Yeah, no, it's not good. I mean, this is why like the Kadabra and Alakazam is just it's better than this line. Here's my thoughts. If I'm trying to do something that I'm certainly not sold. The hit and runs are interesting. If I pair this with Mimikyu, I'm doing 20 more damage than the Mimikyu does. I think it's hard to argue that that's be an upgrade
Oh,
to the
the
deck.
first, yeah.
Yeah, just the Ninjask. Don't worry about the ability, right? Just
Yeah.
because the hit and runs are always interesting. It's always what can you do? You can send up some walling thing, but it's not like it's only doing 90. I can't imagine that's what you want to do. So you have the Shedinja, like you said, you don't give a prize, which is good. They can always attack with their non-EX, assuming it like evolves from it first off, because it's only HP is only 60, so you're really squishy there too. So that's a problem.
Yeah, you're weaker
Um,
than Mimikyu, and you're a stage 1.
yeah, I don't like. No, it attacks for 1 energy though. Mimikyu attacks for 2, and this can do more damage.
Yeah.
The damage multiplying attacks are always interesting. Um, So I would think if you wanted to do it, I would probably just skip the Ninjask, right? Just go from the Ninkata to the Shedinja and see if that could work. I don't think it's going to be very strong though.
Yeah, actually it's like okay in Dragapult now that I think about it. Like it can do I mean it's not doing that much. Theoretically if you're doing like Monkey Dory, you could like you know, hit something for like another Dragapult for 60 on the bench. And then you double Monkey Dory to it, which like you can do. And then you could like attack with this and functionally one shot it. Actually, you could even play Lilies, so you could do less. So there's some different things you could do where it's like it's all right, honestly. Oh, and yeah, you can, as I said, you can hit for weakness. So you could do that like in other situations, using Lily's Clefairy, which is pretty good. Um, it's like kind of weird. It's against stage 1, and I said that you're against Dragapult. It's like pretty terrible against Dragapult, and for the fact that it's like super
Right.
weak. But it's like it's I don't know. The attack's honestly like better than I was thinking, though. It's not. It's a little sketchy.
It is. I mean, you could try to do it with a Frost Lost Monkey Dory deck, because this attacks for 1 energy. So then I can Crispin, get the 2 energies in play, so I can move some damage and take hopefully knock something out. It has an ability, so the Frostlass is putting damage on this as
Yeah.
well as the Monkey Dory. So the numbers are you're gonna have to probably have a bunch of Monkey Dories, more Monkey Dories than Frostlasses to make it work. But you could give it a try. I don't think it's gonna be overly successful though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can't have like that many monkey. I mean, you can have a lot of Monkey Dories, but you're not gonna be able to heal off. You can't use multiple Monkey Dories to really heal a Shedinja because it can only take so much damage. So, um,
Right.
yeah, I think
Well,
Shedinja
you
though
can.
kind of interesting.
Yeah, you can only really have one Frostlass probably, unless you're gonna just knock out your own Shedinjas, but then they do take a prize for it because that ability doesn't kick in
Yeah.
that case.
Oh,
So
also it does work with Luxurious Escape, so you can have 160 HP and not give up an extra prize, which is pretty nice. I did forget about that, or I don't know, I forgot to say it. Which is
right,
like this is actually pretty good, but I don't
yeah,
know,
that
it's not
actually is
crazy.
meaningful. Yeah, yeah,
Um,
that's a good point.
Ultimately they'll still be
Okay,
knocking you out, presumably. And then you're worse against like single prizes, which is where it's kind of useful. But anyways, then we have the last card here, the last line here. We got a Scorbunny, which is bad, a Reboot, which is also bad. I mean, they're pretty
well,
bad.
no, no, hang on. Just Reboot's not terrible because it hits the bench. It does 40 to
Yeah, I
1 of your
guess.
opponent's Pokemon for 1 energy. So hitting the bench, you'll use that attack sometimes. Your opponent runs to the bench to hide, and the stage 1 could be a lot worse than the attack. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah, I guess. But it doesn't matter that much because the stage 2 here has the ability Explosiveness, the Cinderace here. You can start it if you're setting it for play. You can put it face down as your active here. And this is pretty interesting. You can also not put it face down as your active. You're able to, you can choose to do it, you can choose not to do it, which allows you to actually control your mulligans at the beginning of the games, which I think is really cool, theoretically, kind of. And then also you have an attack here for one color, it's 50 Flare Turbo, and then you search your deck for up to 3 basic energy cards of any type and attach them to your bench Pokemon any way you like, then shuffle your deck. And I think the deck's pretty solid. I think I'm a bit of a Joltik hater, but I don't think Joltik's actually bad. I think the deck is kind of bad with just like the way stuff like I don't think the pieces quite fit together. But anyways, this can get a bunch of energy onto your board, do some damage. It has solid HP and has free retreat. So like if this was a basic, it would be absurd. I don't know if absurd, but it'd be very very good and see a lot of play. Um, and then also again, the controlling mulligans thing is cool if you're not familiar with how that works. If it's your only functional basic, then you can play it as your basic, or you can, or like essentially as a basic, or you cannot. You can just choose not to, and you can reveal your hand and mulligan. And then you can also pair this with Snorlax Doll. Yep, of course. And Snorlax Doll plus Cinderace can each be started as basics. You could actually start Snorlax Doll on the bench. You cannot start Cinderace on the bench. But then, assuming you don't have any basics, you have 8 Pokemon that can be in your opening hand that you can choose to mulligan or choose not to mulligan, and then you have your one basic. So assuming you don't hit that, you can kind of control your mulligans, and this can allow you to set up some certain combo. I made the Tatsugiri EX video, deck, which I've learned video expanded, which was like pretty bad, but it was the same idea with the Luxray and expanded. So there's a lot of really, really cool combos you could do. I don't know, they're cool. They're like pretty bad, because you're like removing all your basics from your deck, which is like pretty important. You need like certain very like pretty specific combo pieces, but it is pretty interesting. And then you also have I don't know, but like the attack is pretty good, and you can start this if you just play 4 copies of this in I don't know, like Dragapult or something. That's not like a great example because
Well,
you're not like starving for energy necessarily, but whatever. Um, something I don't know. There are decks that you could use it in certainly, like Raging Bull. I don't know. I can't think of a great example, but it's like it's okay in those decks, right? I mean, it's still it's a good Pokemon. I'm sure you'd if you could choose to start it, you'd start it.
yeah. I mean, I guess you didn't pick the worst example. You could have just said Charizard EX, right? Which I guess would be the only
Yeah, I
example
mean,
worse
like
than the ones you
Dragapult like
picked.
plays
But
Charizard like half the time.
no, I know. Here's the problem with it, and you like these opening hand mulligan shenanigans, which is cool. I get that. But so you're gonna probably have to play 4 of these in your deck. To do it reliably. But you also want to make sure then you can't play too many basics. But the problem is you need basics in play because I assume you're going to want to go second, attack turn one. It's one energy, any type of energy too. So I like that, and it accelerates any type of energy too. So it doesn't have to be a fire deck. I thought it was fire at first, so it's even better now. But you also need like a bunch. You're gonna need like at least 4 basics, probably more in your deck, because you need to get basics on the bench to power up. Otherwise, it's no good, right? So,
I think you play a lot
and
of
then
Search is what you do.
yeah, I mean, but you need, you're gonna want multiple basics onto the bench to accelerate too. I think you don't want just one basic Pokemon to accelerate too, probably. And
Yeah.
the more basic Pokemon, the less often you hit the Cinderace. That's the point, right? And that's part of the one of the downsides. So it's fun. The fact it's only one energy, I like that. Does 50 damage, which means you can even one shot some of these low HP Pokemon. So if you take a prize, that's even better. Um, I like it. You're probably right though. I think you didn't say it, but I think you're going to play it for the stage 2 ability. You're probably not going to want to play the evolution line. I assume that's what you're saying there, which is probably correct. I don't know if there's any other good Cinderaces in format now or
No,
not.
there's an EX. Oh, there's only one Cinderace. Which is like the EX is okay. I would guess I played it some. It was with this first batch of Stellars, so I played it.
Yeah.
But it's not it's just not that good. It's kind of bad honestly. But yeah, Cinderace. I think this card is. I mean, free retreat. If you because it is a basic. Functionally, it's a basic. If you start it, and like the cards like this have seen play, right? So we've seen the Luxray, which is more recent and like kind of similar. The attack on both the Luxray and then the Talonflame, which was earlier, both had setup attacks for searching for cards and getting them into your hand, like trainers or something. I don't remember if Talonflame was trainers or anything or items, but anyways, they like set you up in that way. Cinderace is it's a little different, but similar concept. They were both pretty good. Luxray wasn't that good. Luxray was like kind of okay, and it's newer, so it's probably more similar to standard, but like Counseling was really good, and was played in Greninja Break. I think that was really only what it was played in, unless I'm like forgetting something, or just being silly here. Cardboard Talonflame, I'm not really sure what that is, but I think you're looking at this in, I mean, I'm not exactly sure, right, but like some type of deck that I don't know. I mean, it gets a lot of energy, right? The attack is very solid.
Yeah.
Comparing it to Joltik, it's better, I think, than Joltik. It is one less energy, but it's more versatile and also is it does damage, so that's pretty nice. And it has like decent HP. I mean, compared to like MewBX, which is often used primarily as a pivot, with like it has a little less HP, but it's still a pivot, and it's a single prizer. So, I think it has like it's kind of like it kind of reminds me of UEX. Obviously, it's not like something you can just slap down at any point, but I really
Right.
like this card. I don't think it's insane. I'm kind of saying talking about it like it's super good, and it's like I think it's okay. I think we'll see not that much play. I could see play though. I think it's a card that people kind of stay away from, but I do think it is a really cool card and a really decent
Yeah,
card.
I mean, the problem is getting it in play, right? I know you're going to agree that I think you'd agree that's the problem with this card. If you could get it in play easily, it's a good card. But you're going to struggle to get it in play, so that's going to be the weakness of it. So like, it's an interesting card. It's a fun card, which is kind of how on both a lot of these cards are, right? A lot of these cards aren't great cards. There's some fun, some interesting cards. I mean, what do you think the best card here is, or the most playable cards for what we're talking about?
I've closed like all of them. Let's see.
Is it
I'm
like
scrolling through though. Huh?
is it like the Camerupt still with
Um,
for
yeah,
one energy?
I think yeah, I
Those
guess I mean I do think the Cinderace is like solid. I assume we're talking just the new ones we looked at today.
yeah.
I think I mean yeah, I think a lot of them are okay though. Like I think oh no, I'm sorry. I think Kangaskhan. I think Kangaskhan's the best actually. Um, I do think it is. For some reason my
Okay.
images aren't loading all the right, but it's fine. Mega Kangaskhan EX though, I think it's really solid. You know, its attack is fine. Its ability is quite good. I think. It depends how good Megas are. As I said, I think it's really good with Mega Signal, but I think it's a good card. And then yeah, as you said, the Mega Camerupt is quite good as well. I think not insane, but like I think can be. I'd not be shocked if it's a top 10 deck. Currently, I do think it is the best new deck from Mega Evolutions we've seen so far. We haven't really seen many though, so or we've seen some, but you know, ultimately, um, I think it is the one that can really carry a deck the most because of its high HP compared to something like a Mega Latias CX, which I think is like also pretty good. It's a little stronger. It's like it's relatively easy to set up. It's a little combo-y, but it's pretty doable. But then it is lower HP and also has a weakness with Liz Clefairy EX in play, which is pretty substantial. So I do like this card, the
Yeah.
Camerupt.
Yeah, probably the best attacker. Mega's Kangaskhan, obviously for its ability, could be the best support Pokemon.
Yeah.
And then we
Oh,
got
and
the
the
one
supporter.
supporter
Yeah.
that could end up seeing significant play. I'm not sure, right? Acerola's Mischief, depending uh how the game goes. So that'll be out. Those are but anyway, a lot of interesting cards I think from this set. So looking forward, we've gotten probably a lot of these new cards we already know for the set. So I think we're getting towards the tail end because it's coming out real soon in Japan, the full set. So which we'll know all of the ones that out there. So looking forward to these cards. Let us know in the comments what cards you're most excited about playing. And yeah, we look. Obviously we've got
Should I do the outro?
new card. What's that?
Should I do the outro? You feel uncomfortable doing
Please
this?
do. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
stuck.
Yeah, but yeah, we got some new cards. We'll be maybe cover them soon. Again, we'll see. But yeah, make sure you like the YouTube video if you're watching it on YouTube. But you can check us out on YouTube at 10 Types or Uncommon Fossil, and of course comment
Yep.
down below on those channels for which person you have the question or whatever. And also you can check us out on podcasting platforms, and of course subscribe as well for more content. But yeah, we're really excited for the next set and all the stuff going on in the Pokemon TCG. And as always, we're excited to see you in the next episode.
All right. Take care.